Don't do that. Oh, hide, hide, hide in there, hide. Holy shit. Oh wow, you just robbed a dead child, no hesitation. Oh my god. Oh, this water is so disgusting. Oh. Gonna hang up here. Oh, did I just die? I guess I can't walk across that beam.
Emotional damage.
No. Oh my god, run. Get me up there. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh shit. I'm like not using the sprint button. Oh, hide, hide, hide in there, hide. Holy shit. No, 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 no. Oh my god. It is very hard to maneuver this. Oh, what is that weird eyeball just sitting there? What are all these weird eyeballs? Where am I supposed to go? No. What am I supposed to be doing? What is happening? Is this house becoming haunted? Did a titty fall out today on stream? No? I need to know. I need to know how it was. Oh! A cat. Bitch. Bitch! Yo. Y'all really be trying me. I'm pretty good at this game. And I just fucking... Ah! Bye. Boop. Bitch. How dare you beat me on my own stream? Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't see because of this tree. Oh. Now, if this was Resident Evil 4 and that first time you jump out that house, I'd be dead. I'd already be needing that green herb. Gun. Where do we get that gun? Oh my fucking god. I hate you so much right now. That goose bitch. No. Damn it. Oh.
Tell me one more lie and I'll shoot you in the face.
Where did you get that gun? Where do we get that gun? Oh my fucking god. I hate you so much right now. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. Hi, Evil King, how are you? I will be getting you back for this. Holy shit, man. I wish it was some sort of meter that told me how. Ooh. Fuck. This dude is literally saying, what is the point of this? Oh. Ooh. This is why you gotta look around, honey boo boo. Look at all these trophies I'm getting. Oh my god. I have never been so awarded in my life. Not a whole fucking carousel coming at me. Oh shit. Oh my god, y'all. That is fucking video game history right there. That is fucking video game history right there. Holy. Oh my god, that was so fucking good. Guys, I got a victory crown. No victory crown. No victory crown. Oh my god. Oh shit, run. Oh no, am I gonna die? No, 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 let me get up to that box. Oh shit, I'm here. That sounds bad for you. We get inside the... Hello? Hello, hello? Okay, I'm checking my mic. Why does this look so weird? Why do I sound so weird right now? Maybe it's because I have my headphones on, I'm not used to it. And why is my computer audio? Let's see if my computer audio is working, because something looks like it's missing. Hold on, we're gonna do a little test real fast. Oh my gosh, people. There's always something. I swear I feel like my OBS just likes to do whatever the fuck it wants. It really does. It really does. Okay, I'm gonna test this right now. Okay, so you guys hear that? Okay, perfect. Okay, I hope everybody is doing well today. It is Monday. Usually don't stream on Mondays because Mondays usually kick my ass. But I've been on vacation this whole week, and today was pretty late. And today was, while it was late, it was a fucking crazy day. I had a lot of drama dumped on me that I'm not gonna get into now. Maybe I'll discuss it as we play the games, but the biggest thing, hold on, let me move myself over, was that I got a raise today. So, okay, because it's been almost 3 years since I started at this company, and I've gotten no raise. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about what we're doing today. Today we are playing demos. We're going to start with the demo that is on the screen now. I found this game through what it's showing here, the Latin American Games Showcase. We're going to actually watch a trailer just so I can see how loud it is. And then we're going to play the game. This is from, if I remember right, this is an Argentinian filmmaker. This is their first game. The game is not done. It's just a demo for the game. And I can't remember what they said, what was the reasoning behind having it being a 2 pixel horror game, but the cutscenes being live action. But we're gonna play the demo. Hopefully we're not gonna get too scared, and we're just gonna have fun playing it. So let's bring this back. Let's do this. I'm gonna listen for the sound, so just pay attention to this. And let's see what I sound compares to that. Okay. I think the volume is fine, but if someone is lurking and oh, I need to turn this off. If someone's lurking and would like to let me know if the sound is too much, feel free to do so. Let's go back to my library. I also have all of these games that we're gonna try today. Well, not today, but I would like to try this week. Steam Fest is also happening, so there's tons of other games that just came out. Well, not just came out, but a bunch of demos that were released. So I'm trying to do those, and I also want to do some of these games. This I'm not gonna necessarily do because I've been seeing a lot of people do it recently, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna take a step back. But I'm gonna try these two because they have demos, and they're both either have LGBT characters or were created by queer folks. So that's what we're gonna do. Anyway, let's get into the game. Hopefully it starts on the right side. Yes. I hate that my stream does that. I don't understand why it does that. Okay, let's make sure you're launching. Let's open up Honey Babushka. I hope everybody's having a good day. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Pride so far. We are 10 days into Pride. So hopefully you've done something gay and something prideful. I don't know what the game is doing. I'm pretty sure I said install, so hopefully it's installing. There we go. Let's get into it. Our first demo of the day. Also, this music is creepy as fuck. Wait. There we go. Okay. I'm scared. I haven't played a 2D pixel game in so long. Every night I have the same nightmare. I see my ex-boyfriend being killed by horrible creatures. I didn't talk to him again after we broke up, but these dreams don't let me rest. I tried to contact him without success. I still had the key to his apartment. No, you're the monster. His apartment is on the 3rd floor. Hold on 1 second. Oh no, I can't. Hold on 1 more second, peoples. Or maybe I can do it from here. Okay, I can't do it, but it's okay. WASD to move, okay. To interact. I always hated this fake living room. It looks like the decoration of a cheap talk show. Ooh. Okay, saying the same thing. See what she says if you look in the mirror. Look at that. Look at that ray tracing. I need more sleep. Oh, am I gonna have to run? Why are you telling me that so early? I'm too tired to climb up the stairs. I better use the elevator. Okay. I won't bother Mr. Stillman. Better I go to the 3rd floor. Okay, we'll take the elevator. Okay. We lived together here for a couple of years until I left. For a while, it was hard for me to stop calling it our apartment and think about it as his apartment. I guess the same thing happens with the key that weighs in my pocket. It's no longer our key, it's his key. Why did I keep it all this time then? This time, I will not take it home again. Okay, how do I know which apartment is mine? I won't bother my old neighbors. I better go directly to apartment B. Can I look at the painting? No? Okay, thank God there's not that many doors. Ivan, are you there? I knock, but there is no answer. Oh my god, Junie! Do you know you're the first person to use that channel redemption? Like literally no one else has used it. How are you doing today? How is the oldest person I know doing today? I hope you're doing well. Press tab to open inventory. It's a key to the apartment where I lived with Ivan. Now he lives alone. Ooh. If looks could kill, I would be dead right now. How are you doing today? What have you been up to besides us just terrorizing Ivy today? Hi, Ivy, how are you? I was just talking about older people and then you showed up. Oh my god. Now how you don't know yourself? What are you talking about? What are we talking about right now? How are we doing today, people? I'm gonna get myself in so much trouble right now. This is the second time I walked into someone. This is the second time I walked into someone's stream and they were talking about me. I wasn't talking about you. First I said hello to the oldest person I know, which was Junie. And then they gave me the evil death stare. And then we were talking about just terrorizing you in your stream. Okay, old Avenger. Oh. I am never gonna live down those allegations. How's everybody doing today? How are you feeling, Ivy, now that you have de-streamed and taken off the drag? Terrorizing you with love, of course. And then later, when I'm in Poppy stream, that will be all violence. Because I've used all of my nice points for the day. Because that's what fully happened, exactly. Terrorize you with love like we always do. It's true, Wikifa told me so. I can't. I do not want... If people start calling me old Avenger, I am going to shoot someone. It's always good. My face feels so light afterwards. I could imagine, like, literally, I'm not even in drag right now. I'm wearing this shirt. This shirt is tight as fuck right now. Because it's been so long since I've worn it, but I was trying to blend in with my wall today. But as soon as I get out of this, I'm gonna feel so relieved. I can go in now. I'm sure he's okay. Positive thinking. Okay, guys, this is a scary game. It's gonna get scary. So, be mindful. It's still the typical apartment of 2 movie fans. Well, only one now. Ooh. You already know something happened to him. Oh my god, look at what it is. Look at what is here. Pearl has been here. That's Pearl's pizza. That is Pearl's pizza. Yasa are here first. Pearl's pizza is in this game. Well, you are inked from those old feather pens people. Wait. Well, you are inked. You are inked from those old feather pens people use, right? I don't know, I've seen it in a movie before, but that's how you used to slide into DMs, right? Junie, what did I do to you to get this abuse? What did I do? You see this impact that Poppy oddly has on everybody? All the slander that he puts in his stream about me. Now it's just rubbing off on everybody. This is why I have to be so mean during his streams. This is why. Not the ink and the quill DMs, exactly. Exactly, that's wild, Junie. You going for the jugular right now. Not even giving me a chance to breathe. This is the poster for Devour, the short film he made in film school. I printed it, framed it, and gave it to him on his birthday. It's broken for some reason. Okay. These are movie and film festival posters. Oh, a quill. Y'all would know the name. Yeah. Damn. Ivy's just catching the strays right now. Now, why am I in it? Exactly. I don't know what's going on right now, Junie. I'm seeing another side of you. I'm seeing another side of you. You're always so nice and calm and quiet on your streams. Talking about Digimon. And then when we get in these other streams, this demon that's within you just comes out. I will pray for you. That's the same thing. That's here. Some more movie posters. Here we kept receipts, papers, and anything bureaucratic. Okay. Can I just inspect this? These are the cans where he kept his short films. It still looks like pizza on the floor. They're empty. Well, yes. But my clips make me look like a demon anyway? Okay. That is true. I feel like I've seen a very risque clip of you on Pearl stream. Ooh. Okay, there's blood everywhere. It's cracked and there is blood in the glass. Did he break it with a punch? He was never a violent person. Ugh. Why does he keep telling me to run? Don't do that to me. I used to keep my things in this cabinet and it's full of crap. Among the shampoo and the lotions, there are some developing chemicals. Specifically, those that smell horrible. Oh, hold on one second. Ivan kept them here because he didn't want to contaminate the whole house. I won't touch them. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can do it from here. Because I always forget to do this. So when you guys come in here, just let me know because I be forgetting. See if that one comes through. I just know Streamman lives here. Exactly. Well, this is his ex-girlfriend that's had his key, even though they broke up like months ago. Where did my thing come? Where's my mix it up at? Okay, anyway. Celebrate diversity in the digital cosmos with Hey Junie, a chill gamer bending it like Beckham. In Pokemon Scarlet Violet, from honoring mermaids to raising awareness for adult autism, they've been crafting streams as unique as a warp drive. Engage with their prideful, inclusive space where everyone can feel the force and maybe catch 'em all. Hashtag LGBTQIA plus Pride Month, inclusive interstellar fun. That's Junie. Go follow Junie if you're not following them. You know, if you feel the need to torture yourself. I'm gonna spell this wrong. I said it. I said it. Hi, Drifty. How are you? Okay, now. I gotta read it from here because I cannot get out of the screen. You read that one. The way Junie talks about their knees, they're not bending shit. I didn't say that. Yes, and now we're gonna do, okay, Ivies. Greetings, Earthling. Ivy Molina is the cosmic commander of the Ivy League, blending the art of drag with JRPG adventures. Celebrate diversity with their intersectionality panel, a beacon of inclusivity in the Twitch Latin Guild. Warp into their Hollow Knight escapades, which they absolutely love, for a prideful journey that's both comfy and chaotic. May your quest be as fabulous as their ensembles. Engage with love and laughter. I be bending my knees, shaking ass. Y'all just can't see from up there. Up where? Escapades. Yes, escapades. You know, like that time when your titty fell out. Oh no, wait. Who's escapades? Are you escapades or the other one escapades? Hey, Junie escapades. I can't even tell. He's probably having something pop out at points too. I said it. I said it. The trophies that he won for his short film are dumped in the toilet. Actually, let me do Drifty too, because... Oops. I don't know how to spell, guys, so... Let's see what this one says. Let's see what this one says. Greetings, Earthlings. Drift Store Milkshakes is the enigma of the streaming cosmos, with no recent transmissions to decode. No recent transmissions to decode. Their content is a mystery, wrapped in a drift store and dipped in a milkshake. Until they reappear on our radar, may your quest for entertainment be as vast as the universe itself. Warp out. Ivy Molina, I think you secretly adore Hollow Knight. I believe the same thing, and I feel like they're going to feel the same exact way when they play Lethal Company. Like, it's just gonna be a thing. Not that funny. Ooh, why a dragon like that? Junie Ghost wrote this exactly. The trophies that he went for a short film and dumped in the toilet. Ooh. Yes, I can't wait for their excitement. Exactly. We are all gonna be there doing the most. That's gonna be the best time ever. Ooh. Don't open like that. This wrench looks heavy. Maybe I can use it for something. Oh, I got a wrench on Butch. Okay, let me go into the other door first. Not enough spelling errors for my ghostwriting. Ooh. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Something smells really bad. Okay. Yes, that stove looks like it's on, but let it burn down the place. The fuse box, nothing strange. It's empty. It's almost empty. There's a developing chemical that needs to be kept in cold storage. I remember it was one of the most expensive. Why am I getting all these chemicals? What? It's the short film. He burned the film. Why? This short film is what he loves most in the world. This is getting creepy. The kitchen counter is quite dirty. Okay. No. Nothing important. It's a chemistry book with highlighted sentences. Ooh. Don't get me hungry now. Can't be eating Taco Bell before Pride. Tartaric acid is one of the key components used to alter colors in the developing process. Blood is another iron-rich substance. Did I read this already? Okay. Why did he need to know about blood like that? Okay, we're gonna go look at the TV and then we're gonna go into the demonic door. Oh, actually, no, there's another door first. Someone broke the TV. I don't like this at all. But you still standing in an empty space with blood everywhere, just chilling in your ex's apartment. You can eat whatever you want before Pride. Absolutely not. Trying to be naked. That's not happening. Why is this old book on the floor? Oh, I got an old book. I can only read pages 1 and 9. The others are blurred out. It's pure esoteric nonsense. What did you get into, Ivan? Hi, Pound. How are you? Let's get Pound now. Hope you had a good day. What did you do today? I don't think you caused trouble like some of the other people in this chat. I'm doing good. I had a very productive day of terrorizing. I think I did pretty well at that. Okay, let's see Pound's shadow. Greetings, Earthling. I'm not even gonna read that, Junie. I'm gonna read this real slow so I don't have to read that. Greetings, Earthling. Pound, a being of indie horror passion, recently delved into the depths of Outlast 2 with a let's get messy vibe. Their interstellar journey into also included, oh my god, I can't even read that. Where did it go? Their interstellar journey also included a return to the chills and a stay out of the house, and a brush with the green in Outlast Whistleblower DLC. I cannot read right now. Brace for terror and thrills as they navigate first playthroughs with a plus-size heart and indigenous spirit. Hashtag spooky streams horror hive. Says inked the legs out Avenger. Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That's okay. Today's been productive. I'm having a rest now. Nice. Don't rest too much though, because then you won't be able to rest tonight unless you're streaming another like 13 hours. Okay. Plus size heart and indigenous spirit is wild. I don't know how it comes up with this stuff, but it just like scrubs your profile and it will just come up with the most random things. Like when there's an ad break, it will just like summarize what has been said in chat It's like the best thing ever. And you can pick different themes. Like they have Western, they have pirates, they have other things like mystery noir. And it will just make a theme. It'll make a shadow based on that theme that you picked. It's free. It's called frostytools.com. So definitely go check it out. Also, we're playing a little horror demo right now. Called, I can't remember the name of it. It has a weird name, something like in Latin. What is the name of this? What is the name of you? I don't know. Ten Boris Stremis. It's a weird game. So the game is like really pixelated like this, but the cutscenes are like live action. Because it's like an Argentinian filmmaker. This is one of the demos I got from watching Poppy and Jay do the Latin American game showcase. It's pure esoteric. Wait. Oh, that's why mine called out autism, because they stay reminding me to get diagnosed. Now, Junie. It's just AI. Let's be calm for a second. It's pure esoteric nonsense. What did you get into, Ivan? Ooh. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing with this? Next. I can't read the pages though. Wait, I didn't get to read page 1. Tell that also to me besties. Oops. Where's page 1? Oh, the relics. That was the first page. Okay. The Desiderium is sealed from the outside world by the sulfur symbol and the layer of lapis victus, which is red and hard as diamond. It can only be dissolved by Oritisatio. I'm just going to call it aura. To obtain aura, you need the acids of the Tartarus, tamed by iron and blessed by the sunlight. Okay. Okay, can we escape this? Weird. What is this? Is this another key? The trophy Ivan won for his short films were exhibited on this table. There's only one left. Okay, let's go to the blood door. Are we feeling blessed by Aristachio? No. I'm not feeling any type of being blessed with this door. The study door does not open. It's sealed by this weird substance. At least it is not blood. Oh, it's not blood. It looks like some kind of very hard red wax. I probably spelled that wrong. Everybody in this chat is spelling that wrong. We're spelling it wrong. We're saying it wrong. We're ignoring the fact that it exists. Not the weird substance. Exactly. Are you in there, Ivan? Can I use my stuff? Oh, maybe do I need to cook the stuff? No, this is the bloody bathroom. Not the weird substance. We read that. Ooh, not a sticky door exactly. Cook or... I can't. Why did he burn the film? The short is what he loves most in the world. Wait, did I get that? No, there was, I think, a chemical in the bathroom that maybe I did not get. Because I don't remember it giving me a symbol that I got it. That had Jake burn the door down. Exactly. Burn everything down. Ivan kept them here because he didn't want to contaminate. Oh, but she didn't want to take it. So how do I open this door? Are you more chemicals? No. Lots of books about cinema. Many of them are mine. Ew, what happened in here? So what's happening right now is that she's been having bad dreams about her boyfriend getting murdered by creatures. Her ex-boyfriend. This is her ex-boyfriend's apartment with all this bloody stuff. And she just happened to keep the key to the door. Why? I don't know. Okay. And now she's going to check on him. Or taste his substance, you never know. Exactly. Just do a little lick test. Is birthday cake flavored? I can't. Inked had a wild night. Why is it me having the wild night? Exactly, not the ex's apartment. When somebody's an ex, they're an ex. They don't exist. Can I use it? At least it's not blood. How do I get it blessed? Is there a window? Can I open these window curtains maybe? Oh, here we go. Why did he board up the window? You may be at bigger age, but you can still have a wild night.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
That is very fitting for what is happening right now. Let's keep that over in Ivy's stream. Okay, we're not gonna do that here because
And if I want your bullshit, I'll drive to your motherfucking window, Queen. So don't come up here and place your order with me.
there we go. Oh wait, why can't I use a thing? What am I supposed to be doing right now? Can I hit? No. Okay, so I have the wrench. I believe the wrench should open this. Oh. Forgot that I can use tab. Hi, Mickey. How are you? How are you doing today? How was the rest of your stream? What did you end up finishing with? Let's equip. Okay, let's get out of here. Oh, girl, you're not getting nothing. You're not hitting nothing with that. Why did he board up the window? Girl, you're not hitting nothing. Yeah, what was I didn't know what was the last game you ended up playing. 'Twas good. Goblin Camp. The tutorial was very good. It was close to my ending time, so I just ended with that. Yeah, I'm trying to get through some of these demos, but I totally didn't know that this Steam Fest thing was happening. So I just gonna play demos all week. Also, I don't know why my mix bot is not working. But it's okay. Greetings, Earthlings. Mickey Rand, the Gen X nerd of variety streams, is your co-pilot through gaming galaxies, from debunking fall damage in virtual worlds to sailing high seas in Skull and Bones. They've navigated through a cosmos of titles, engage in multiplayer chaos, or warp into spoopy Sundays. Mickey's got the warp speed dial set to fun. Join the neurodivergent friendly crew for an interstellar journey. I'm going through my entire list right now to sort it. Yeah, I think I'll make note for next year and post in Discord for creators. Yeah, I totally didn't even know the Steam Fest thing was happening at all this week. I did go through my Steam library and start organizing things because I'm like, I have no idea what I even have. And I found out that I have a lot more games than I thought I did. Okay, maybe we need to use the liquid first. So let's equip her. It's a toner. It's used to correct the colors of the image during the developing process. This game is on my wish list. I know, I was like, I don't know why I felt the most drawn to this game. Wait, could I not go in here? Oh, I could go in here. Why didn't I go in here? I don't know, I felt the most drawn to this game. There's a game that I'm gonna send you that I think is like right up your alley. It's about a chicken. I think you're gonna love it. I remember I always wanted to sleep leaving the curtains open to feel the morning light. He could not stand the sunlight on his face. Oh, this is where I get my chemical blast. That's why he slept in absolute darkness like two vampires. Okay. You like vampires though. This room could use some sunlight. Oh, maybe I can hit these. It's boarded up. The blinds never worked well, but this is crazy. The lower board is loose. Maybe I can remove it with something heavy. There we go. There we go. This was the board I was supposed to hit. Now, how? I went through my Steam library this weekend too. Yeah, I bought one of those, like, I want to say it was like Fanatical or Humble. One of those bundles where you get like 15 games for like $10. And so I needed to go through them. And I also had downloaded a whole bunch of demos like a long time ago and never got through them. So it looks so nice now that it's organized. I'm like, oh, this isn't just complete chaos. This frame has a photo we took at the premiere of a short film, but the photo is gone. Okay. Yeah, I bought one of those bundles because it was like, oh, you can get a AAA game. Maybe you can get Street Fighter or something. And it didn't. It came with like a garbage VR. Like literally the name of the game is called Garbage. It's so bad. And then I got some like transport simulator, I think. Yeah, oh, I got a glass. Can I touch the stuff on the floor? Nothing important here. Okay, so I can't go in there. Can I look at the bed? I know this bed more than I know myself. Okay, this is getting very 50 Shades of Grey right now. I wonder if he's been with someone else since then. Oh, now it's getting into you. That's so funny though. The name literally is literally Garbage. I think it might be. I think the name is called Garbage, and then the other game was called like Transport NYC. It's insane. She's getting very stalkerish. Not my problem though. So why you was thinking about it though? Okay, now I think that I need to combine. Let's see. Combine with this. Okay, I put the toner in the glass. Can I use it now? No. Can I do something with the glass over here? Now the sunlight sneaks in a little. Okay. Come on. Can I hit another board? No. Okay, but what am I supposed to do with the glass? You're saying I cannot use it. Maybe it was already touched by the sun. Maybe you can go back out the room. What is this black thing though? Nothing. Okay. The real nightmare is being trapped in my ex's apartment. Exactly. Like, why do you care about this ex so much that you came over here? Just call the police and let it be done. Okay, let's. Okay. What am I supposed to do? Can I hit this one now? Okay. No. I don't understand why this person even has the key to this person's apartment. Should I put it? Can I put it on the table? Nope, stop. Okay. How am I supposed to use you? I mostly get an unblock. You okay, sex? And then reblock. Exactly. I mean, they're not even gonna get that from me though. It's just gonna be a An X. Can I open a thing more? I don't understand what I'm supposed to do here. I need to get that chemical, needs to touch the sunlight. I know this been more than I know myself. Valid, exactly. I wonder if he's been with someone else since then. Okay. Oh, maybe. I mean, this said specifically needed to be sunlight. Okay, this lamp does nothing. Can I turn off the light in the room? I wanna know what this black thing is. Like, what are you? I wonder if I can, maybe I can equip it? Let me, no. Let's unequip this. Can I equip you? Okay, I'm very confused. Maybe I need to go back to the kitchen. Oh, Miss Girl ain't over him yet. Exactly. Why is she over here asking what he's been doing in that bed? It makes no sense. That was a bathroom, so I'm gonna go to the kitchen. That was a fuse box. Okay, do I need to cook the film? What am I doing with this film? The chemistry book with highlighted sentences. Let's read this again. Taric acid is one of the key components used to alter colors in the developing process. Blood is another iron-rich substance. Maybe I need to get the blood from the bathroom. Let's do that. Let's try that. There's something really creepy about the sound too. It's cracked and there's blood in the glass. Did he break it with a punch? He was never a violent person. Can I touch it? Can I use it? Let's see. Oh, I got to use it. I can't believe I will use this blood. It's dry, so I don't know how to add it to the glass. The fuck was that? Ouch. How stupid I cut myself with the glass. Girl, you in a crime scene with blood everywhere and then you go cut yourself with your own blood? Like, you're just asking to be convicted of murder. Well, I guess my own blood will do. I got a glass with chemical and blood. Oh, I feel amazing now. This girl is not smart. I'm just saying. Let's use that. Okay. Tab. Let's use this. Oh, I need to. The mix needs something else. I think now I need to put it in the sunlight. Please work. There we go. The liquid in the glass turned into a strange color and gives off a lot of heat. Oh, we got aura, Oris Sacio. Okay. Next time I gotta read the instructions. This is why I'm always feeling I should. Let's get through it. Okay, tab. Use. Okay, we're going in the bloody door. Bloody door, that's not blood. The red thing melted. I can enter now. But do I want to? No. Maybe those weren't just nightmares. Okay, before we enter the room, I'm gonna take a quick break because I gotta use the bathroom and I gotta run ads. So I will be right back. Yeah. Be right back. What's happening right now? We're just like waiting for a bigger monster to come out. Oh shit. What's happening? Can I? What the fuck? Now. Ah! Damn! She got me good. She got me good. That's what happens when you meet someone that's actually good. Ooh, don't be jumping around me, little fucking roaches. I don't like that. Oh.
Match point. Blue team.
Did y'all see that? I was just a tornado of gain. How did, what the fuck? That's what I get for trying to go around. Give me my damn ability already, son. Dude, and this dude over here fucking duck walking. Shit. Oh.
You better kill it! Show me something!
You just scared the fucking shit out of me. Hey, 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 hey. I can't fucking breathe. I can't fucking breathe. Holy shit, hi Kifa. Oh my god. Holy shit, I can't fucking breathe. Oh my fucking god, high space. Oh my fucking. I can't fucking breathe right now. I was not expecting that. Holy shit. Oh my god, hold on, hold on. I have to go back and say hi to everybody. Oh shit, run. Oh no, am I gonna die? No, 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 let me get up to that box. Let me get inside the building. Oh my god, run. Get me up there. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh shit, I'm like not using the sprint button. Oh, hide, hide, hide in there, hide. Holy shit. And I'm back. And there's still gonna be ads in 3 minutes because I just fucked that up. I didn't want to exit I can't tab out of the game because I'm afraid that it's gonna make us do it all over again. And for some reason on my stream manager on my mobile, it doesn't have the ad to run the ad. So there's gonna be ads in like 2 minutes. I apologize. Let's try to open the door before the 2 minutes. Okay. Not liking this. Okay, he's a streamer. He has a computer. Did you forget to hit the run ads because I do it? No, because I feel like if I tab out of the game, if I click quit or return a title, it's gonna make me do the whole thing again because it's a demo and it doesn't necessarily have a save point. So I was afraid to do that. It's like the worst, yeah. I love when I can just like move the mouse over. So it is what it is. He reviews movies for a prestigious website with his computer. He's a pretty harsh critic. The screen is broken. He kept the short film cans in this box. It's empty. Let's go to the table. The remote control for the TV, it's stuck to the table. That's gross. What is it stuck with? I can see that it has no batteries. Even so, TV is broken, so it's useless. These are the costumes we used in the short film. It's all over the place and there are some things missing. Okay, let's look at the blood. What happened here? It's that red substance again, hard as stone. Okay. Looks like Ivan wrote it. I can't forget her no matter how hard I try. I can't forget Julia. Are you Julia? Am I Julia? Cause y'all both a little creepy. Ever since she left, I do nothing but think about her and suffer her absence. They promised me they would help me to forget her. Ooh, who's they? They say the first step is to descend through the elevator to the lowest floor. Forget me to move on with his life. Ooh, they in love with each other and they're weird about it. What have you done? What kind of lunatics have you been messing with, Ivan? There's something on the floor. A green candle. Okay. I think I can leave. What is this? Did I look at these? Here there were 2 pictures that I took. I imagine he got rid of them. It's okay, I don't want them back. Okay, but we still in his house, girl. Let me see what this little red thing over here is. Ivan's cell phone is stuck to the floor by the red thing. The screen's cracked, but the phone might still work. Shit, the battery is dead. Okay. Let's leave the room. Wait, did the house just change color? The house totally just changed colors. Because it was like orange before. Orange and red, and now it's purple. Okay, let's go back into this room. Why is there a green key here? It's locked. It has an engraved symbol. Can I use the key here? Nope. Okay. Okay. Now it's nighttime all of a sudden. I don't like that. Okay, we read that already. Okay. That is fucking creepy. Was this here? Is this a bottle? What is this? Levedolonium. Okay. Let's go into the... It has an engraved symbol. Everything is locked. So there's a 7, there's a key. And there's this. It's locked. It has an engraved symbol. Okay, so that's like a circular symbol. 7 and a lock. It said to go downstairs. Who opened the door? Who opened the door? Oh no. Wait, can I tab this? No. Oh no. Oh shit, run. Oh my god, I don't know how to run. Oh my god, oh my god. Get out, get out, get out. Oh my god. That was creepy as fuck. That thing looked like the creatures that gutted Ivan in my nightmares. It tried to kill me as they killed him. Was everything I dreamed real, or am I still dreaming? Oh my god. Welcome back, everybody. Wait, there's more doors. Can I go down the stairs now? It's jammed, it won't open. You just missed the first cutscene. That was intense. It's locked, it has an engraved symbol. Okay, I guess the only thing I can do is take the elevator. Please don't come after me. I almost died. This nightmare has just begun. Thanks for playing the demo. Oh my god. Don't forget to wishlist the game. I must say, I'm hooked. I will play this game when it comes out. Damn, I'm so sad that that the freaking ads ran right when the cutscene happened, because it was like a really creepy ass cutscene. Oh my god, that was really good though. This is staying on my wish list. Okay. Let's see. Should I stick with scary, or should I do something that I'm gonna be really bad at? I don't want to do this yet. This is the game that I'm gonna suggest to you, Mickey. The Saboris game. Damn, I gotta fix my alerts because there's too many that pop up at the same time. Let's see. Do you want to do crackpots? Let's see this one. Wait, let's see what else we have. Deathbound, I'm gonna be really bad at. Iron Hive. Mark of the Zeep. Actually, you know what? Let's do Iron Hive. I literally, when I saw it, I was like, Mickey would play this. Like, this is a Mickey game. Okay, let me edit this. See if this comes up. There we go. I know I only downloaded like 3. I only saw 3 that I liked. Which were I definitely want to do the flintlock. This hollow body demo. And then illusional carnival. I literally can't read right now. Yeah, so I have to look through it and get a little deeper. I'm gonna try to do get through 2 of these, and then then I'll do one of the Steam Fest ones, because that's why I specifically asked you, because I'm like, sometimes I like forget that some of these things are limited. Yeah, that illusion one. Yeah, it looks cool. Oops, did I just click play? Wait, stop. Confirm. Yeah, we'll do Iron Hive, and then maybe we can check this one out, because this one has some like interesting artwork to it. So I was like, okay, we can try that. Is this playing on the right screen? Okay. Okay. Amidst the desolate lands, our community strives to survive, defy oblivion. Let us rise from the ruins and ignite the first white flame, the fire of hope. Priestess Iona. I totally forgot what this game was about. Okay. Whoa. Priestess Diona, Iron Lord, your ascension inaugurates a new era. You must vow to establish the legacy of our people through historic milestones. Oh, I'm gonna be so bad at this. There are demands beyond the milestones that require your leadership. Overcoming them strengthens your skills and wisdom as Iron Lord. If necessary, acquire new building plans at the heart of the Iron Hive. They are essential for the development of our community. Okay, so do I need to go here? Okay, so this is the Iron Hive. This is where we go to get cards or, I guess, blueprints for building. I like this music. Okay, so we have acquire card tier 1. There's a supply station. There's an advanced workshop. There's a purveyance central. And there's a warehouse. Looks like there's other things. Oh, those things are locked. So I need to choose one of these. Supply station, advanced workshop, purveyance central, which I don't really know what that means. Produces assets for all buildings in the district. Okay. Supply station generates the supply resource. Advanced workshop creates production workers. Warehouse allows the storage of material cards. I think... Do I even have supplies though? Heart of the Iron Hive unique building. This building is a starting point to expand the Iron Hive, providing construction cards. Sell up to 2 cards per turn. Provides tier 3 construction cards. Provides tier 2 construction cards. What is this? Can I click this? No. Okay, so I need to add a card here. If I have workers, but I don't have supplies, then they can't really do anything. If I have supplies and don't have workers, I can still do stuff, but it's still kind of slow. I don't need a warehouse because I don't even have enough supplies, possibly. Also, I don't know what these are. This is oh, are these my people so far? I think we should get the supply resource first. So we're gonna do that. Okay, so we're gonna... How do I... Oops. How do I use this card? Oops. Wait, what happened to that? Oh no. What did I just do? I just did something really bad. Don't do that. I thought that pass meant something else. That was really bad. Oh my god. I think I just lost all my cards. Iron Lord, each new season demands a rigorous care with our resources. Without them, our survival hangs by a thread. If we fail to provide supplies, our citizens will face hunger and death stalks amidst the shadows. I literally just started and I think I just lost all my cards. Oh my god, it's so bad. The lack of devotion erodes the spirit with our people. Without it, chaos and disorder flourish in Iron Hive. Neglecting the order dismantles the structure of our city. Without adequate control, our building and safety quickly deteriorate. And thus, Iron Lord, as the Book of Ashes reminds us, through prudence we raise the foundations of survival. Am I getting my cards back? Okay. Oh my god. Okay, so don't press this red button, which everybody says in all the movies, don't press the red button, don't do what I just did. Let's get the card again. Okay. Now, there's also all of this other stuff up here. Milestone, citizens in buildings, citizens in storage, materials in storage. Oh, so I think this was a thing where I had to bring this over here. No. Assign workers. Why does it have an add thing, but it doesn't let me click it? Wait. Scavenge is all scavenge. How do I assign them? Continue. Let me see what this does. Milestone 1. Construct, expand, prosper. Legacy of the Builders. The Builders, Sentinels in a devastated world, erect each structure as a bastion of resilience. The cities of metal, more than shelters, are strongholds that meld survival and society. Each building is a monument to human tenacity, essential for the conservation of life in the Iron Hives. I'll be back. Need to feed animals. Yes, thank you, Mickey. Give Abby a nice pet for me. Continue. Can I add this? How do I add a card to this? Oh, there we go. Okay, scavenge. Okay, and this, where do I put this? Okay. Unfinished, generate supply each turn, consuming 1 asset per action. Do I have everything I need? Wait, is that, can I use that here? No. Okay. So I put the card next to the hive. And it still needs supplies. Okay, so let's hit this again. How do I get more cards? What is this stuff? Okay, let's look at this quest tab. Collect material cards from the debris around the city. Okay, can I scavenge more? Okay, so I can scavenge this. Okay. Oh, I can do this as well. Where do I do this? Okay, let's click this. Organic, can I add that? Yes. Okay, she almost built. No. Oh, use this card on the Iron Hive. Okay. Let's try scavenging again. Oops. Wait, let's close this. How do I get... Here we go. I don't want to know what these numbers mean. Do they mean I can't... Like, after a while, I can't scavenge any more goods from them? Because this was at 15 and now it's at 12. I don't know, but I literally need more workers. Okay, we're gonna touch this. Okay. Let's get more workers. Which one has workers? Creates production workers. Can I get this? No. No. Oops. Where did you go? Provide 1 tier instruction cards. Okay. So I can't explore. I can't look at my quest. Okay, maybe I need to... Maybe I get to pass now? Okay, there we got some more cards. Let's scavenge this one. Please tell me I got some good stuff. Why did I only get 2 things out of that, sun? I still can't do anything with that. Okay, let's try scavenging this one. Oh, did I get nothing? Ugh. Okay. Oh, can I move you over? No. No. Okay, so I think I have to pass again. What's an event? Oh, now I can't pass. Now there's only an event. Passage amidst the debris. During the excavation of a pile of debris, a deep tunnel was discovered. The air is heavy and suffocating, and a moldy smell invades the senses. Unintelligible whispers emanate from the walls, heightening the sense of unease. Some believe they are forgotten riches, while others fear collapse and the unknown. Explore the tunnel in search of new materials. Receive a new quest, extraction in the tunnels. Or seal the tunnel to avoid risk. Decrease the size of collapse by 1. Decrease workforce by 2. Oh, I want to search the tunnel. Because I can't lose any more workers at this point. Okay, let's touch this. I don't think I can do this anywhere. So we can pass again. Okay. Let's try one of the other spaces to scavenge that we haven't touched yet. So you're a worker. We're gonna take 2 of you and a boss looking one. Okay. Please give me some good materials because otherwise I can't build this thing. Oh, okay. Let's see if this does anything for this. Nope. Okay, that did nothing for that. Nope. Okay, but I can't do anything else. What do I do with this manuscript? I can't add it to anything I have. Wait. Oh, wait, I could put that thing there? Let's try putting the worker in there. What does that do? Oh no, I'm about to lose that card. Down. The Pale Eye. In recent days, many citizens have been tormented by nightmares where the moon appears as a disturbing pale eye, watchful and judgmental. These unsettling dreams have left the people exhausted and fearful. Some say it is an omen, while others believe it is merely a coincidence. We shall perform a purification ritual to ward off a bad omen. Are you about to knock down my iPad, little puppy? Increase devotion by 2 and order by 1. Decrease the supply and workforce by 1. Or should I invoke the occult rites of worship to the ancients to access the power of the Pale Eye? Draw 2 cards from your deck. Chance of receiving Mindscape Rumor card. Yeah, I don't want to decrease my supply or my workforce. Receive 1 random worker, so that I'm putting here. Okay. Okay, so I just noticed some of these cards, they all say worker, but some say belief, and then this one says hive. Let's do, oops, scavenge. Let's bring 2 hive over here. And then we're gonna scavenge. Get some stuff. Give me some good stuff. Okay, I got more scrap. Oop, I almost clicked that. Let's click here, put the scrap here. I think we could do another one. Oops. Hello. No. Okay, so she's kind of built up. Let's scavenge here. We only have one type of worker, so... Wait, can I put this here? No. What can I do with this? What? Oh, my manuscript card, I closed it. I have returned, that was it. It's okay. I think that I'm not understanding what I need to be doing right now. So... Like, I'm scavenging for materials, but it's not giving me all the materials I need for this. But then events keep happening, which, like, are changing the odds. And also the cards. So I put 3 workers in here. Some workers say belief, and some workers say hive. So I don't really know what that necessarily means. It's cute. It's just going to take me a minute to understand what the actual... mechanics of this game fully is. Okay. Put more scrap in there. Okay, so this one is built. Although it's saying unfinished, I don't know how to get... Oh, I need to get organic and I need to get scrap. Why isn't this orange? What is this? I don't know what this production sign means. Oh, in inventory. Wait. This is my scrap. Okay, this is organic. What is this card? Oh, there's a worker over here. Maybe I need to put her. Oh, I didn't put a worker over here. Maybe I can try that. See what that does. Okay, so this one has an elite worker. This has a hive worker. And now there's about to be another event. Let's see what happens now. Oh. The pile of debris stood so high that it leaned, but what caught everyone's attention was a huge box at its base. Inside there was canned food, medicine, clean water, and dried meat. The colony was ecstatic, demanding to divide the supplies. However, tough times are approaching, and storing these precious resources could mean the difference between surviving the winter or perishing. So, do I want to distribute the supplies equally, which will increase my workforce by 3, and I could receive a Dark Veil card? Or do I want to sort a box? We shall utilize these sources in future shortages. Increase the supply by 3, 25% chance of receiving 1 Rebellion rumor card. Do I want more workforce or do I want more supplies? See, like, I feel like I'm getting, when I get the deck cards over again, I'm getting way more workers than I'm getting supplies. But at the same time, this Rebellion card is making me feel like there's a chance that choices that I make will cause a rebellion. And if I have a Rebellion card, I will know that it's about to happen. And I can change the odds. But the people need the stuff now. I don't know what the Dark Veil card does. So do I want to feed them now? I feel like if I feed them now also, there won't be a rebellion. There'll be a rebellion if I do this. Let's do this. Profane knowledge. While in your hand, when using a card, gain 1 experience point and reduce order by 1. Use this card on the Iron Hive. Okay. So nobody's gonna tell me thank you? I just gave you all that food and nothing. Also, I need to figure out what this manuscript card does. Can I use, well, let's see if I can use it on the scavenge. No. Okay, so it is a production, belief, elites, and hive cards. And then you have cards that change your odds. It literally didn't do anything. I was like, it's crazy. Okay, let's put true production in here. Wait. Can I remove them? I don't think I can remove them after I did that. Okay, I think I need to pay attention to the symbols. Mineral. Okay, do I need minerals? No, I need scrap. Well, this is, I don't understand. This is checked as if it's done. What is this? Production. Maybe I should have put a production worker here. Let's see what the other one says. This is production as well. Maybe they're already built? I mean, it's saying it's unfinished. It has all these. Maybe I need more of these leaves. Okay, let's see. Oops, let's get out of there. Okay, this one produces leaves. And this produces leaves. Let's try to add workers to this. Also, let me just check if I can use this mineral. No. No. I feel like I've been losing a lot of resources. Oops, okay, calm down. Oops, sorry, let's get out of this. Okay, let's scavenge and see what this does. Please give me some leaves. Whatever this is. Okay, now I have way too many of the same thing. Oh, I have a reward coming up. Okay, let's see. Oops. Okay. Can't use a mineral. Can't use a manuscript. How many of these do I need? Is the question. Do I need to get to like 10? Okay, let's see what the reward is. Collect materials plus 5 experience. Collect material cards from the debris around the city. Okay, I leveled up. Even though I have no idea what I'm doing still. Okay, we're cool with that. Choose your reward. Reinforcements, blessing, or command. I feel like I don't want to choose reinforcement because, like, am I being attacked? I haven't been attacked this whole time, so why would I want that? Command, I don't know what that means. Like, is that command over, like, more command over workers, or... Ooh. Okay, I wanted to tap it to see if it was going to give me an explanation of what it means. I feel like the blessing makes the most sense. So I don't know what this is. We're not getting attacked right now. I'm going to choose this. Also this. That imagery looks amazing. Promote card. Okay. Increases the building structure by 1 workshop master. Okay. Yuhas! What is happening right now? How did you even find me, Yuhas? What is happening right now? I am so shook right now. Sorry you're streaming, just stopping by to say hi and share some love. Oh my god. I miss you so much. How are you doing, the Twitter baby? I hope you're doing well. I'm following Crybaby. Okay, I'm following the escapades. I hope you're doing well. I miss you so much. We're playing a game that I know nothing about right now. And my two little brain cells don't want to figure out. Miss you too. I'm doing well here at work. I'm waiting for some stuff to wrap up. Oh my god, how did you even find me? So much fun. Like how did you even know what my thing was, my handle? It's so crazy. I mean, it makes sense because it's my Twitter handle though. So thanks for the Crybaby love. I'm going to get to one of your shows. Brandon spoke very highly of your last show, so I'm definitely will be there at some point. You posted on Twitter. I know. Listen. You're my first crossover event. You're the first person that knows me on Twitter and in real life and that has come over here. Because nobody pays attention to me on Twitter. I just tweet or X into the void. Yes, you should be honored. You're my first. You popped that cherry. When is your next show? I don't think I can do anything with any of this stuff. Let's pass. I'm so excited. Receive 1 random work card. Uses an Iron Hive. Okay. I'm performing at my friend's freak show on the 24th of this month. Okay, is that a public or private event? Because if it's public, please feel free to slide into my Twitter DMs and let me know. No. Increase the building structure. How do I use this? Oh, maybe I just need to pick up this card and do this. Oops. Nope. Construct. Oh, I just got my first building. Her band Pretty Polly hosts it. Tickets are $14. I can send you the link. It's in Bushwick. Yeah, send me the link. At least so I have it on my radar. If I can't make it to that, I'll make it to the next one. But please, just anytime you have an event, feel free to DM me. Oh, I'm so excited. Supply station creation. Generate supply each turn, consuming 1 asset per action. Generates 4 supply per turn. Okay, what is my requirements? Do I need to do this? Wait, can I do this? No. Still can't use this stuff. I plan on having another public breakdown soon. Nice. I'm excited. I heard nothing but good things from Brandon very recently about your last show, which I didn't even know. I'm already kind of annoyed because he went to your show and didn't even tell any of us. But then he just randomly tells us things that we don't need to know, like things about Normani or Fifth Harmony. Unlock level 1. I need workers. Should I just put this in there? Let's see what happens. Oops, I don't think I should have used both. Oh, add material. Can I add you? Why can't I add you to anything? What are you? Oh no, of course not that. Exactly. He literally doesn't tell me anything important. Literally everybody in the chat is always like, what nonsense are you spewing now? I know I just got it. Thank you so much. I'm gonna look into it. But if I can't make it to this one, I need to just put you on alert, like notifications. One per turn. Maybe I need to add more workers. I can't scavenge. I have no workers. I just wasted them on that. Okay, I guess we're gonna pass. I gotta slip away and wrap up some work. I'll see you soon, babes. Have fun. Thank you so much for hopping in, Yuhas. I appreciate it so much. I miss you, but I'm glad that you're doing well. Let's try. Can I do this? No. What is this mineral stuff for? Okay, now all I got was materials. Can I use you here? What do you do? What is your purpose? Okay, I think... Let's see this one. I think this one still needs the stuff. Okay, I think I need to get one of those other cards again. I'm still trying to figure out what is the point of this. Is this it? Miss you too. See you soon. Bye. Wow, so many people stopping in today. I feel so blessed. It's very nice. What is the point of this stuff? This is just like dead currency. It literally doesn't do anything. Okay, let's pass for now. So, we love you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's literally been so long since I've had people in stream. Like, not even joking. So, it's nice. But like, I think that like my stream is in that weird space where you get a bad haircut and you have to like wait for it to grow out for it to be like styled in the way that you want it. But also I just think like it's a Twitch thing, and there's just like so many things that I'm coming across now that I've never experienced before that I was not expecting. So like having the ups and downs of like dealing with the viewers and stuff like that, it's like very new to me. So yeah, I was in my feels last week a lot. So, and this week, I was just like, just keep pushing through. What will happen, and just stop thinking about that stuff. Okay. Sylvan Forest. At the height of spring, the community witnesses a rare phenomenon. Wildflowers of indescribable colors blossom amidst the buildings. Some see this blooming as a blessing, while others believe it to be a sign of hidden forces infiltrating the colony. Let's harvest the flowers and extract their pigments, essence, and other useful components. We'll get one organic material card. Increases workforce by 2. I don't want that. Or rid the iron hive of this strange influence and burn these flowers. I don't want to burn the flowers, but I also don't want that organic card. And I don't really know what these, like, what is increasing the devotion, increasing the command. I don't really know what some of that stuff does, so. And I don't see a tutorial telling me what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel like this could use a little bit more of a tutorial, because it's just like telling you these words like this devotion, but it hasn't even shown me the card or what it does at all. So I feel like it can use a little bit more of a tutorial. It just literally kind of like threw me to the wolves. Let's do this. Let's just burn it all to hell. Okay. Like, I don't even know what to do with these manuscript cards. So when I pick them up, they don't show anything. What does this need? We need Feathers and screws. Okay. Feathers. Oh, this. Wait. Can I use you here? So I got these manuscripts. What do these manuscripts do? No. I like literally can't put them anywhere. I feel like there's some stuff that is so completely useless. Okay. Only these two give me the two things that I need the most, which are the leaf things and the screws. I want to see what happens when, oops, no. We scavenge it to its lowest number. No? Okay. Dude. You have got to be kidding me. Why do you keep giving me these freaking rocks? Can I use you here? No. Like all of these resources are about to get thrown away because I can't do anything with them. Add material. Cancel. Okay, I like these animations, like the slice of actioning and this drop down and the come up of these mechanisms. Very cool. But okay, I guess I'm gonna have to pass. Can I just... This is why I need storage. Because I'm getting all of this stuff. And now I can't even build it. Like, I don't know what these things are making supplies out of. What can I do with you? It's in my inventory. Okay, let's just pass. Ooh, spring ends. Also, I like this character design. Maintenance. The season comes to an end. It's time to manage the cost of the community and the city. We must manage our resources well or suffer severe consequences. Do I get to click these? No. So two of them cost 7. One of them only costs 3. So this one, I have funds enough to do it 3 times. This one I only have enough to do once, this maybe twice. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so I spent 7 supply, spent 3 order, and spent 7 devotion. What does that mean? Dude, why does it keep giving me the same stuff over and over again? Okay, so I think receive 1 random worker card. I think I have to use this on the hive, so let's do that. This I think already has... No, I don't want to put another worker there. Generates a supply turn, but I can't... What am I doing with these rocks? Okay. Let's try scavenging again, I guess. I'm really not doing well at this game. I'm not good at strategizing. Dude, if they give me any more minerals... Look at all of the supplies I just discarded. I'm definitely gonna have a rebellion. Ooh. Look at how they keep giving me the same thing over and over again. What am I doing with this? Okay, I'm gonna scavenge this again. Because I'm trying to get rid of this one station because I want to see what happens. Okay, got scrap. I think this one needed scrap. Oops. Okay. And now I have to pass again because I can't do nothing with those materials. Oops, no. I'm only gonna scavenge with these two right now. Scavenge, give me something good. Please give me a nut or something. Dude, why does it keep giving me so many minerals? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Let me try scavenging this place one more time. I just want to see what happens when it hits 0. Girl, I didn't get no materials from that? How dare you? The bullshittery. Give me something. Okay, let's collect a reward. Extraction in the tunnel. Collect all the material cards in the debris. Collect a reward. Okay, I leveled up again. I like how I can level up and not knowing anything. Okay, I think we're gonna choose a different, since we chose blessing before. I still don't think I need reinforcement because I haven't seen anything about anybody attacking. We're gonna choose command. I love this animation. Okay. Very interesting cards. And those, I guess, will randomly show up, but I can't do anything with these materials, so we're gonna pass it. Look at all of this stuff that I'm just getting rid of. So wasteful in this economy. With the arrival of summer, the colony witnesses a rare phenomenon, a sunrise of unparalleled splendor. Golden light floods the Iron Hive, offering a glimpse of hope to the citizens. However, this brightness is fleeting, and the great atmosphere returns, more oppressive than before. This sunrise is a good omen, let us celebrate. Double the workforce and devotion added this turn. Okay, like that. But it decreases my supply by 2. The darkness will never retreat. Ready yourself for difficult times. Double the supply and order added this turn. Decrease workforce by 2. Let's celebrate. Use this card on the Iron Hive. Choose a card from your deck and move it to your hand. Wait, I guess I use you, no? Not letting me use you. What is this one? Use this card on the Iron Hive. Receive 1 card. Oh, maybe I need to scavenge first. Okay. Which one is the next lowest? Let's do this one. Dude, they just literally give me 2 more minerals. Why is this not letting me use it? No. It says to use it on Iron Hive. Can I do this? No. I'm literally about to lose these 2 cards right now. Okay, how am I using it? I'm literally clicking the cards over to the Iron Hive and it's not doing anything. Okay, I'm just gonna do pass. There's literally nothing I can do. That's so weird. Dude, if it keeps giving me these minerals, I'm going to blow a gasket. You see how it worked right away to give me that? Okay. Like, what am I supposed to do with these damn rocks? Okay, we're just gonna scavenge the hell out of this place now. Oh, I can't put 3 there. Okay, scavenge. Dude, I just wasted 3 workers for you to give me 1 rock. Okay. Ooh, I almost did something not good. Okay. Why does it keep giving me the same things over and over again? The tunnel amidst the debris was deep and led into darkness. What is this doing? Okay, actually, I'm going to take a break because I have ads starting in 4 minutes, so I'm just gonna run them and grab a drink real fast. So I will be right back. Be right. Oh shit, run. Oh no, am I gonna die? No, 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 let me get up to that box. We get inside the building. Oh my god, run. Get me up there. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh shit, I'm like not using the sprint button. Oh, hide, hide, hide in there, hide. Holy shit. The people that are following you for a reason. They support you through the mess ups, through the messiness. Like, just go and just stream, just get it, do it. Like, stop being so anxious about it. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everything you guys have been doing. And I appreciate you bringing over your community over here. Holy crap. Oh, there's a shield right there. I'm good. Oh. And I still killed you, bitch! Oh my god, you really thought you was gonna have me with that one, honey babushka. Oh, and you had some good stuff. Drink you. What the fuck? Oh my god, what the fuck? If I could. Oh, I never noticed that backpack. Bitch, that is a fucking... Oh my god, that is so fucking shady. The Guardian's head as a backpack? That is fucking shady if you don't know. I'm not gonna spoil it, but that's like a very iconic moment in this TV show. Learn how to fight too, right? Naturally. You will spend your days training and studying, but most importantly, sewing. Sewing? Oh my god. Try a combo. Okay, we are back. The tunnel amidst the debris was deep and led into darkness. The whispers grew louder as the workers advanced. At the bottom, they found a hidden chamber with ancient technologies that could revolutionize production. However, extracting these mechanisms will not be easy. Some saw figures in the shadows, suggesting that the whispers conceal a threat. Mobilize everyone, bring those mechanisms to the surface immediately. Receive 2 mechanism material cards. Chance of removing 1 citizen's card from your deck of the discard pile. Or do we investigate before taking action? Receive a new quest investigating the shades. Receive 1 haunting rumor card. I want the mechanisms because I haven't had a citizen's card. I just had worker cards. Let's see what happens. Now, what can I do with these? Okay, maybe that wasn't a smart choice. I literally can't do anything with any of this stuff. Okay, let's scavenge this place. Can I use the mechanism to scavenge? No. What can I do with this? Oh wait, I can do this. Can I put this there? No. Why can't I use this? Okay, I'm gonna pass. Why did it show it to me like that? Like I tried to use it. Ooh. Okay, I don't know what these numbers mean. Supply, workforce is at 1, orders at 9, devotions at 1. Choose a card from your deck and move it to your hand. Okay, I guess we're gonna, oops, scavenge. Oops, I almost passed. Okay, I'm gonna scavenge again. I feel like these discarded things keep going back over here. Oh, and I just literally got nothing for that scavenging. The bullshittery. Maintenance. Okay, the season comes to an end. It's time to manage the cost of the community and the city. We must manage our resources well or suffer severe consequences. Ooh, spend 3 supply, spend 3 order, 3 signs of collapse received. Oops. Beware, you have received a sign of collapse. When you accumulate 3, you receive a rumor card. Rumor cards represent imminent problems. Okay, let's just finish. We're gonna finish off this last little scavenge. Oh, what is this? There's an exclamation here now. Can I put you here? Okay. What is happening? Uh-oh. A rumor card has appeared in your hand. Use the card to investigate the rumor, thus making a situation appear. If you do not use it, it will activate a negative effect upon being discarded. On the third time, it will be removed and a situation will appear. Investigating the rumor grants experience points and reduces the complexity of the situation. The community welcomes a peculiar traveler, part preacher, part illusionist. They display their fascinating art, promising revelations and salvation. They intertwine prophecy and prestigitation. I've never heard of that word before. Arousing the curiosity of some and drawing the skepticism of others. You are welcome, traveler. Enrich our knowledge with your culture. Receive 1 belief card. Chance of receiving 1 occult rumor card. Oh, I want this one. I wanted to decrease the sign of collapse by 1 because we already had 3 or something. So I use this on Iron Hive. A situation affecting one of your districts has appeared. Situations are problems in the city and their effects are either permanent or triggered at the end of the turn. Allocating citizens to solve it or face the consequences. Ratmen anomaly. An abnormal hunger affects citizens, leading them to consume incessantly without ever being satisfied, devastating the city's resources. Transforms 1 citizen into 1 anomaly rumor card and moves it to your deck. I don't think I can do anything. Shit. Oh my god. This city's about to eat me. Oh. Okay, now I can do this. Oh. Oh, no, it has a 55% chance of getting true. Oh my god, it's raining now. Let's do a believer. Can I move them here? Can I do this person? Why are none of them getting here? Do I have to drop them here? Oh. How do I get them there? Assemble 1 team, add. How do I add you? Somebody become a rat person. Oh my god, I'm about to die. We're gonna get killed right now. I can feel it. That was the second time I had to pass, and I didn't do anything with this rumor card. Oops, that's not what I wanted. But it's not... Oh. You're not giving me a chance to put anything there. Where am I supposed to put it? I'm trying to give you somebody to be an anomaly. Oh my god, I'm gonna die right now. I literally could do nothing to get without having to do I feel like it's making me do the 3 things. Stability is the lifeblood of the colony. Losing citizens or building or having a negative effect, resources will reduce your stability. Recovering stability is an arduous task. Be mindful of this. Can I still not do this? Oh, there we go. Success, continue, okay. Okay, so I just killed one of my own people. Let's go scavenge from you. And you're gonna give me another fucking rock. I'll definitely be giving this a go this week. It's really interesting. Yeah, I think you would like this, because it's kind of like, it's like a deck builder mixed with that, What is that that game that you play, something planet, something Earth, where it has the people, you have the five people being like the like reporters, and you have people being Project Earth. Yeah, I feel like it's like a mix of those two things. This is very interesting. I can't do anything with any of these. You would probably make better decisions than I would, because I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Receive one random card. Why can't I use it? Okay. Scavenge. And I feel like you have you obviously have a much bigger community. They will give you a lot more input as to what decisions to make. So why can't I do anything with this stuff? Oh, here we go. I'm sorry, have you met my community? They do nothing but troll. They are in love with that one sound that you have, and I'm just like, guys, let's calm it down right now. Let's get a little order in here. But it's such a good sound though. It is raining really hard right now. Oops, scavenge. Okay. Can I give you that? Oh, wait. Let's give this to you, maybe? Okay, I have no idea. Oh, let me see. Well, I couldn't do the mechanism. Oh, I can do the mechanism here. Okay. Oh. Reduce devotion. Move reduces devotion by one move one worker from storage to the discard pile. Okay, tackle situation. Oh, I just failed. Oh snap. Can I do another worker? Okay. Oh my god. I'm gonna fail again though, because I need to do this. Oh, okay, okay. The music and animation is really cool. It's like, it definitely enhances this kind of creepy vibe. Oh, I can level up. I'm gonna do blessings because I'm about to have a mutiny on me. Promote card. Okay. Tower Watchman increases the building structure by 1. Also, I don't know what is like the end point of this game. Is it that we just lose, or is it like going through? Is it circling through all 4 seasons? Can I use you here? Like, I don't know what these other things do. Maintenance. Autumn ends. The season comes to an end. It's time to manage the cost of the community and the city. We must manage our resources well or suffer severe consequences. Ooh, 7 citizens starved to death. I killed 7 people. I spent 4 on order. 4 on order. Now we have 4 signs of collapse. Ooh, honey. I'm devastating this community. This is why I can't deal with building communities, building anything of any sort, because you will just perish. What is that? What is happening? Are those all things that I just killed? Okay, I don't... That sound? Okay, you go here. Let's check out what you need. Still can't do nothing with you. Can I do anything with you? No. And what do I need to do? Reduce the structure of 1 elite or belief casting build by 1. Okay, shit. I don't think I have a card to do that with. Collapse. With a heavy heart, you witness the Iron Hive succumbing to the adversities. The buildings lack workers and the population's morale is shattered. Rather than building our legacy, we are marching to our end. Future generations may yet learn with our mistakes. And new Iron Hives may be built. Will you rise again? Okay. That was a cute little game. I'm glad I got all the way through it, because I was literally just about to end to go to a different game, because I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But that was fun. It gives it like nice little... It's like a nice little choice deck builder strategy game. I would definitely try it again off stream to see if I can actually succeed at building something. Okay, let's do one of the Steam Fest ones. So I'm gonna try this one. I don't even remember what... Oh, wait. Stop. Let me change my thing. Oop. Okay. Where did you go? Okay. This game contains flashing lights and rapidly changing images, which can trigger photosensitivity. Okay. This game sounds much louder than the other one, I can't tell. If I need to drop it. Also, my screen just blanking out like that. It's amazing. I'm gonna lower this a little bit. Okay. Zoom. Use the mouse wheel to zoom in. Hold and drag the left mouse button to look around. Okay. Hold on. I gotta do that. There we go. Okay, I love the artwork. Confessia. Oh, those look like some bad people. Walk up to the other characters and press space to start a conversation. I feel like this music is still mad loud. Let's go there. I cannot tell how loud this is. Okay. Zzz. Hey, we have a visitor here. What? Another visitor? arrives swiftly. Welcome. Hey, Tiny. You don't seem to have a ticket. No worries at all. For all lost souls, we offer our services free of charge. Would you like to get your ticket to confession now? Yes. So what shall we call you? Gonna call me Avenger for now. Avenger, good, I'll remember that. Are you sure about this name? Yes. Here's a present for you, a special paper craft. Make sure to take good care of it. And as a special gift for all our visitors, we prepare unique costumes for dressing up. Ooh, do I get to dress up right now? Am I a paper hat now? Enjoy the park as a lovely paper boat. And don't ever get lost again. What is happening? I love this artwork. What am I doing? Ooh, is that me now? Turn into a paper boat and dash. Okay, get closer to objects with stars on them to investigate. This? Wait. Like this? Okay, this has a star. And mount the popcorn so tall you have to crane your neck to see the top. You feel uncomfortable with the item size here. Okay. Okay, I like that the star goes away, which means I've checked it out. Is there another star over here? Oh, yes. A building block with a number on it. You touch it, noticing that it's soft. It doesn't have any sharp edges. You guess it could be a pillow shaped like a block. Okay. Is there more stuff over here? Okay, I love the way this artwork is. I love the depth of it too. That there's like things hanging, they'll just come into preview at any moment. Tips for lost souls. There's so many weird buddies here. But don't be afraid, they will be glad to show you around. There's something on the back of the note. Looking forward to seeing you in person. Okay. A lock with a toy-like texture, but you don't have the key. Okay, let's find the key. Where could the key be? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, there was a star over here I missed. See what you found? A toy block. Let's pat it. You pat it with your paper arm. Imagine the pain it may feel. Ouch. You notice that the color on the block has been dyed onto it as the paint comes off onto your arm. What else am I supposed to do over here? See what you found, a toy block? You're leaving it just like that? Maybe I need to go back to the other side. See, that star didn't close. Or didn't unfill like these other ones. Can I grab it? No. Okay. Oh, there's a star over here. A gift box that beckons you to open it, and it's just the right size for you. Open the box. Geez, the ribbon on the box is hairy. I love this art style. I know, it looks so cute. I love the colors. I like that it's like, it's almost like a 3D pop-up book. Then you realize it's a soft, fluffy, stuffed toy. See what you find underneath. A key. Tabs to open your backpack. Okay. Double click or press number keys to use them. Okay. A plastic key with a toy-like fixture. Okay. Let's go try to open a door. This would fill the space while I'm waiting for that. Oh, I need to go over here. For that Plucky Squire game to come out. Surprised they didn't announce anything about it yesterday. But this could be a fill-in for that game. Use the key. Oh. Oh, I love that too. There's like a little bit of a like a core kind of like Tim Burton feel to this game too. Oh. What are you? Can I? Oh. Am I supposed to catch you? What just happened? That black thing become this? What is this thing? What is happening right now? Shh. Okay, music. Surprise! Oh, I messed that whole line, damn it. I am Delarini. I shall be your tour guide. I will guide you in your journey through Confessia. But first I prepared you a little opening performance. Spikes, chainsaws, round chainsaws. Avengers, stop hiding, embrace your ending and this splendid welcome from Confessia. Okay, she got real dark real fast. Why is it my business if you two are having fun? What is happening right now? Well, why can I still speak? Oh, does it take this long to die? Our visitor Avenger who just encountered Confessia is already faced with... Huh? Who are you? Demetria? Huh? Where did you go? What is it? Why are you having a second visitor? Oh, I don't know if I like that. So that was that whole conversation was just happening on its own without me clicking, so I couldn't read any of it. Don't mind the second one, should die in a second. Huh, nice try, but look at yourself. Have you ever felt pain up until now? Nice try. Look at yourself. Have you ever felt pain up until now? Didn't I bleed out to the point that I can no longer feel pain? Wait, there's not even a single wound. Was I impaled for real? Why didn't I feel anything? Yes, why? Because we're already dead? Quality problems with the gadget? I don't want to get her mad because she might... Let's see what happens when we get her mad. Because she's already kind of odd. Those are real sharp weapons. In order to die from wounds, one should at least have a physical body, right? But here, you're just a soul. Of course, you can never get hurt, nor can you die of physical wounds. Your flesh bodies are safe and sound in the world above. Above, then this place must be... Limbo. So we're all ghosts after all. Haha, just kidding. This is a place between the underworld and the mortal world. In the underworld and the mortal world are the two pieces of meat of a burger. Then this place would be the bun in the middle. That is absolutely wrong. Huh? Wrong order of words, exactly. In short, no one can die here, right? Indeed, no one can die here anyway, so let's do it again. Oh my god, this is so loud in my ear right now. So loud. See, amazing, isn't it? You can hardly find your way without a guide in Confessia with all these unusual paths. Where did you take us? Why did you attack us? To Demetria, what's wrong with his head? Why did you attack us? Oh, harsh words. Never have I ever harmed you. That's only a little show to let you know that no one will get hurt here. After all, a tour guide should introduce the place in an amusing way. Huh? Talking to you reminds me of the last visitor on my tour. What happens to that person? What happened? What did you say? Oh, by the way, before your tour starts officially, have you ever thought about how amazing it is to be immortal? Your adventures can last forever. Does that mean if we find the exit, we'll be stuck here forever? Well, not that there aren't other ways, but I think it's a bit too early for that. Because compared to death, there is something worse. Souls won't suffer physical deaths, however, souls still have spirits. When your spirit is eroded completely, it will collapse. You will fall into utter madness and there is no way back. However, no one will die here. You can only lose your sanity, but never your life. What happens in that endless madness, I wonder? Listen carefully. It's the carnival of spiritual death only. Okay, artwork. Dear visitors, this is the end of our guided tour. From now on, every step you take in a park, every joy, and sorrow you share will become your very own story. So I hope you embrace the most delightful of emotions and have a nice tour. Oh. The top left corner shows how much spirit you have left. Turn into a paper thing to dash. Oh, snap. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Okay. Ah. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I'm just running for my life. Oh shit. Oh my god, do I have to keep running until I figure out the right door? Holy shit. How? Where did these hands come from all of a sudden? My brain feels melting when I'm touched by them. What happened to Demetria? Oh my god, all the eyeballs. Avenger, do you know it? In your journey ahead, you will face even more spectacular abnormal eager to eat you. That is to say, you cannot get away. I'm not sure if you're tough enough to survive long enough to find the ultimate exit of the park. But seriously, reaching the exit may not be the best choice, should we say. Want to know a secret? I know the best way to get home. I pity you. I truly hope you can reach the best ending. That outcome would indeed be ideal for Confessia, and it's a time I anticipate more than anyone else. If you allow it, I hope to clear the abnormal for you, ensuring a smooth journey ahead. Unfortunately, it's your story, therefore I can't interfere. After all, Avenger, this is the endless carnival hosted only by you. That was very interesting. This is a cool game. I like the arts. I like the darkness of it. I like the mystery of it. Wait. Oh. What is happening? Did I want to do that just now? The fantastic environments and colorful palette has always been our favorable highlight. Speaking of this, I must mention the transportation pipe, all thanks to our unique, outstanding... Oh my god, I can't even read that. That goes by really fast. I don't know how I feel about that. Our secret recipe is that these paints contain delicious. Everything is colorful. Why don't you... Every paint has this... Oh! Did you just hit me? Was I not supposed to get hit by you? Oop. Is there something trying to touch me over there? Oh my god. Are we going on a roller coaster? Are we about to go down? Oh my god, the eyeballs again. We want to eat it. Eat it, 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 eat it. Is that delicious? I want to bite too. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. I gotta use the restroom again one more time. Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't see because of this tree. Oh. Now, if this was Resident Evil 4 and that first time you jump out the house, I'd be dead. I'd already be needing that green herb. Ow! Yeah, get that bitch. Get that bitch. Cover me! Listen. No. Oh, no. Damn, I fucking messed that. Thing. Are we back? Okay. What happened to your face? Yeah, what happened to your face? Is that delicious? I want to bite too. Oh, I can't choose that option. No is not allowed. I'm telling you, I've noticed it already. If I pull the paper boat off your head, then there must be a bald patch underneath. Ooh, how dare you call me bald? Who are you? Me, I am... You lost all. How can you expect to find your way home safely in this chaotic world of Confessia? This artwork is so beautiful. Well, let me teach you something important. Firstly, take that paper boat off. Never mind that for a moment. How did you get that paper fortune teller? What just happened? This is doing so many weird things and I'm like, what does that mean? Quick, pick a number. I'm choosing 4. Pick a direction. Oh, north. The direction of fate will be little silly hat tip. Great, then I will start eating from you, little silly's hat tip. What is happening right now? Hey, not for you. Oh. What is happening? You are not listening at all. Well, do you have any idea what abnormal wants to eat you that much? Their one and only desires to feast on fear and desperation. Under their attack, your soul will ooze black and white paint, like wounds oozing blood under a bondage. That is to say, race That is to say, rare, colorless preys like you are exactly their favorite. Well, little paper boat, let me tell you a secret. Abnormal shouldn't have invaded this park. They abruptly came through this place one day and nobody would do a thing about it. Only the papercraft in your hand is specially prepared for visitors. It can reverse the abnormal. That papercraft is called Auricurd. Listen carefully. Okay. Approach abnormals with E, long press. Okay. See, that's the power of the Auricurd shock. Physical body and wounds don't exist in this world to overcome an opponent. The only way is to use spiritual powers. You just need a stronger mind than your opponent to suppress them or even reflect the spiritual effect onto them. Auricurd is a medium for such. The instantaneous shock generates a burst of spiritual energy, enough reverse the state of your opponent. Paper boat, tiny little paper boats. Do you have any idea what it means to hold the Auricurd? Whether you like it or not, the Fader Confessor is under your control, little brat. What? You said your name is Avenger? None of my business. Alright, if I keep our protagonist here for too long, our audience would get mad. Go on with your sailing. Oh, fuck my life. Almost forgot the most important thing. I haven't taken a bite out of you yet. Oh, fuck. Fuck. Oh shit. Ooh. Ooh. Oh shit. Ooh. Why is it not doing my long press? Oh shit. Ooh. Oh my god. Where's my health bar? Like about to die over there? Oh, is that the health bar for me? Is that what that heart does? That was fun. The welcome cable welcomes you forever. Oh. Was this place always that dark? Didn't remember correctly. Ouch, you startled me. How are you still alive? Those cuties treated you way too nicely. What a bunch of idiots. Everything is for me then. Oh, and another thing I want to tell you when we've met. Your dandruff count is explosively high. Ooh, how dare you? We have arrived at the terminal of the welcome cable. Thank you for joining us. Our welcome cable will forever welcome you. Hey, only give us this little time to chat. Someone must be really impatient. Avenger, do you know how wonderful it would be if Abnormal and Confessor are fixed? No one's mind and spirit will ever get hurt. It'll be a perfect amusement park of pure innocence. You will no longer be exposed to fear and no soul will ever collapse. No human will ever die here. Confession. I think that would be the best ending. Can't you do it yourself? Why can't I do it myself? Am I too lazy? Am I too weak? Guess why you have the aura card in your hands? Because you are the protagonist. Do you think that I can do it for you? Do you think I can hold that papercraft like you, bouncing around the park like a bunny? I can't even play alongside you. There would be complications. Alright, Confession is still waiting for you. See you, paper boat. Who are you after all? As you can see, I'm Illusia. I've told you so many secrets, don't tell anyone else. Including I am Illusia. Because Illusia doesn't exist, there is no illusion. Wow. Oh, here's a piece of paper. This piece of paper fell along with you, but you don't think you have ever seen it before. On the paper is a sketch of some kind of soft-bodied ocean creature, or maybe just a couple of tangled crooked lines. Was it something immature kid that put on your back? Was it some immature kid that put it on your back or while you were distracted? Confession classic welcoming event. The tour of the welcome cable is coming to an end. After a brief introduction, do you have a better understanding of this park now? Now you can follow the route and start your journey officially in the first area. Up ahead. The last part of the note is scribbled out. Circle, donut to candy ball, button to flower. As you sow, so shall you reap. As you sow the button, so shall you reap the button flowers. You find yet another sticker on the back of this paper. The writing on it seems different. The first time I came here, there was no park, just a vast empty space. The only attractions were a merry-go-round with tons of teeth and bumper cars on fire. Though they were all gone after the construction of this area was completed. But back then, compared to these abnormal facilities, the most interesting thing was still the visitor in a black and white teddy bear costume. Holding a tattered doll, the teddy visitor looked timid. Don't be shy. Play around with woo-woo. To be continued. Button House. Okay, I like the camera angles. Okay. Up ahead, Button House. A giant broken pipe, paint-like liquid is oozing from the bottom. If the paints are edible here, then this one must taste terrible, you think. Oh my god. Dessert shop selling delicious food made of colorful paints. Rich and ecstatic emotions is your prime choice for experiencing spiritual moments. Accepts confessions vouchers only. Do I have money? Pink jelly drink. Tangerine cherry pop. Or marmalade cake. Let's see what this one is. A pink beverage made entirely of jelly, including the cup. Restores 20 spirit points. Oh, a single lick of this tangerine flavored lollipop can cheer you up. It restores 10 spare points. And the cup of this cupcake is made out of astringent. Restores 30 points. Let's do this. Can I get this? Do I have money? I don't think I have any money. I don't have any vouchers. Okay. Look at the symbols on the lottery boxes and you will know what prizes they hold. My 1 vouchers. Okay, can I get this? Okay, so I got lollipop. Let's see what's on this side. Is there more prizes for me? What is that sound? Sounds like something getting squished. I don't know how many vouchers I just got though. What are you? Wow, Teddy. No, my bad. Well, you are a visitor too. Why are visitors all in black and white? I almost saw you as someone else. What? You're named Avenger? I am Woo Woo, the sole octopus of this park. Have you ever heard of Confetti Factory? I live in there. There's a ton of delicious food in that place. It's been a long time since I met you. Since I met the last visitor. How did you get here? Did you buy a ticket? I fell out of nowhere. Well, I guess so. Hey, did you happen to see my novel while you were wandering around here? So far, there's 5 chapters. I scattered them around here while writing. Do you use any visitors that are black and white like you? Do you see any other visitors? I expected so. Can you tell me if you see another one? I can give you 2 candies for free for my precious collection. And do you feel up for some candies, the ones that can refresh your mind? You humans seem to rely on them somewhat. You can buy some at the food truck over there if you own enough vouchers. Oh, I only have 63 vouchers though. So I still can't buy anything. Okay, so we're still leaving. Okay. Can we keep going? Hi Avenger, you're heading to the first attraction in Button House already. Though my work as a guide is pretty much over, I'm still really curious about what kind of fun you're gonna have. Quick survey. Do you think the moon is made out of blueberries? Are there geese swimming in the green box? Are there... Let's just say yes. I expected so. Anyway, where has Demetria gone? Being smashed into jam in a terrible accident? Surely that won't happen. But never mind. So how are you? Did you have fun with the welcome cable? That's something only visitors can get. But strange, no one else other than visitors have ever obtained Orchid or learned how to use it in the entirety of Confessia. How did you learn how to use it? Let's say Lucia taught me. Ooh. Ooh. I've heard this answer before. Hey, are you still wary of me just because I scared you a little at the entrance, aren't you? Honestly, I just intended to show you the terror of the abnormal. Oh my god. I have no intention whatsoever to hurt you. I show them my one and only duty, to guide the visitor on the right path. If anyone wants you to save Confession with the Orchid, that is definitely the wrong path, leading to the worst ending for the whole Confession. Why? Avenger, keep your eyes wide open. Because illusion is disgustingly fake. Just like I said, the first attraction in Button House is just ahead. Huh? Why that face? I didn't say anything weird. Our Wheel of Fortune will provide visitors with delicately designed games. Go ahead with all capable Orchid and try our little hero in Confession. Okay. Well, back to the topic at hand. Do you like the games booth at carnivals? With all the colorful figures lined up that you can take home if you toss rings onto them. Oh dear, there seems to be more than two of us here. What is happening? Cough, can you hear me? Oh, what just happened? With our winner boo inside, as your lucky winner, do you have anything you'd like to say? Well, since our winner ran away, our true lucky winner should now be Avenger. Yay, work is done. Nice. What did you get done? Are you scheduling your shorts and stuff? Doing some recording? Finally, someone is here to take my place and play with this thing? Hooray. Hello, I'm still here. Oh no, Avenger, we must have been haunted by hallucinatory sounds. Hey, can anybody hear me? Hello, hello? If you keep chatting with non-existent things, you'll probably go insane for real. Hey, hey, hey. I think so. Becoming someone like Delarini would be terrifying. What am I doing? Play with the Wheel of Fortune or everyone will be smashed into jam. Great. Great. Also, you can put me down now. No, you don't seem to understand. I will only let you go if Avenger beats me. Ooh. Jam on the floor. Wheel of Fortune, you do know that jumping from this height can even hurt a school kid, right? I don't want to play your games anymore. My game is absolutely fair. You'll also accept the punishment. Who forced me to play rocks, paper, scissors with 6 hands at the same time? Why is this kid so lacking in the spirit of fun? I've been playing with you for way too long. Never mind, but you two are a little troubling. You should stay in here. Helping Avenger is against the rules. Cheating is not good. What is that? Are you expecting us to stand here hopelessly while watching Avenger get torn into pieces? Don't tell it. Just think of it. Paper scraps are so hard to clean. Aw, come on, Avenger. At least you don't have to stay here and listen to them talking. Avenger, you seem to be holding a very interesting paper craft. Then let's play some special games. If you beat me at the Wheel of Fortune, we'll reward you with a huge amount of vouchers. How's that? Would you like to try your luck? Haha, you don't have a choice anyway. Cheater. I'm not. Cough, the rule of the first game. You must have played ring tossing games before, haven't you? I will drop in a lot of lovely little dolls. When a doll enters one of the light circles, catch them by shocking them with your aura card. If you capture 5 dolls, you will be considered a winner. Are the rules clear? Not really, but okay. Let's go. Am I getting them? Oh shoot, am I supposed to catch them while they're in here? Did I just win? What just happened? Your spirit collapsed in an embrace of Kefesha. Okay. Wow. Well, that was fun. That game, I'm really into it. I think that it's gonna let me play it again, but I'm getting a little too tired for my own good right now, so I'm gonna end right now. Let me see something. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna end because I have an ad starting in a minute and 45 seconds and I don't want to do another ad. Oh, clipping, editing, scheduling, socials, organizing my demo list, added a PR group to my Discord, added the Steam Fest list at Discord. Very nice. Thank you for doing all that stuff that you do on Discord. It's been really helpful. I'm not at the place where I can use that stuff yet, but at some point I will be. But we will be ending stream right now. I'm gonna try to stream again tomorrow and try to do a few more demos. And I'm gonna look for more demos to try to play tonight. We still have a bunch of demos to try out from the Latin American games showcase. You can absolutely sign up on a PR list. I haven't looked into that stuff yet, but most of the content creator stuff, like the programs, I can't do that just yet. So that's fine. It'll come in time. I'm gonna actually look up for like people that do what I sent you today. To see if I can find more people to follow like that on Twitter. Yeah, but tomorrow I'm gonna try to stream again at the same time, do a few more demos, and yeah, an ad is starting in 24 seconds, so I'm going to end stream right now, but thank you for hanging out. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, Mickey. Thank you for everybody that came in today, that's been lurking, that will watch a VOD. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Bye. Bye. Night, Mickey.
We're Visible, the wireless company with nothing to hide. Get unlimited 5G data powered by for $25 a month. Taxes and fees included. Sorry, hidden fees. We're just not into you. Switch today at Visible.com. Rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com.
You're out here hustling, but you're also using the McDonald's app to have your favorites delivered to your door. That's hustling smarter. Order McDelivery in the McDonald's app. At participating McDonald's.
New York Presbyterian gives you the healthcare choices you want, like over 450 locations in Manhattan.